so shalom for those that are new to this channel.
Shalom.
Shalom. This is story time, okay, with family and friends. All right. If you don't know who I am, I'm Bonnie G, in the place to be. Hey. And then if you don't know who she is, she's none other than Auntie Shelly on the beats. That's right. Y'all know we don't do that thing for ourselves, but we do it for the community. Hashtag community minded. Right? Right. And so if you all happen to have questions, put them in the chat, please. This is an interactive channel.
Yes.
So we need your input. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you guys get things that we don't get. And I'm like,
Yes.
I didn't think about that. So we really love when you guys participate and join us. And then if you happen to have a question outside of story time, feel free to go ahead and send us that good old email, okay, at storytimewff@gmail.com. It's there for the asking.
Yep.
All right. With that being said, I enjoyed your prayer yesterday.
Really? You know, I always think that people think I'm weird.
No. I love how Auntie she said, "But up bump." Yes. So I think you
telling me to pray again.
Because it's good. I love it because everybody's gonna see prayer is different. We all pray differently, but it's still communication.
Yeah.
And you ain't got to be and the Lord. Or you don't have to be like, Father, can you hear me? You just be talking. So I love to show that aspect of prayer.
Okay.
It's talking.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay. Father, Yahuwah, please be with us.
Please.
Have Ruach surround us. Our angels, the good ones, surround us. We know the other one's there, but we're going to ignore that one. Come and touch our hearts so that we can feel this from our hearts instead of just filling our minds with knowledge. Fill our hearts with you so that we can understand you. We can understand the things that you are trying to tell us, and not just so we can say we know the book of Enoch. We read it. I know what that means. But what are you really telling us? You are warned. You're telling us, first of all, the history of the world right now, but you're also warning us, remember, when you get to a certain part, that part is going to come around again. So you are timeless. You are truly eternal, and you are truly the living Elohim, who knows the end from the beginning. And it's right here. You gave it to our grandpa Enoch, the beginning all the way to the end, because you already knew what was going to happen. And so please just touch our hearts, bless our reading, bless our speaking, bless everyone online, everyone with their chats, everything. Just illuminate us all together. In the name of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right. So listen, a lot went down yesterday, right? Y'all would agree. And so I said we're in chapter 89, right?
And we said we're going to start at 17. But do you?
Okay, yes, perfect. Okay. 17. Oh, you're right. 14.
Oh, 14? Oh, is that why I have a circle? Okay.
All right. So grab your Bibles. If you don't, then just 2 ears. Just listening. All right. So we're starting at the 89th chapter in Enoch, and we're going to start from 14.
And remember, we're going through the history of the world. Okay.
All right. Then began wild beasts. No, I got to read it from the beginning.
Do you?
89. Then one of those four went to the white cows and taught them mystery. While the cow was trembling, it was born, and became a man, and fabricated for himself a large ship. In this he dwelt, and 3 cows. dwelt with him in that ship which covered them. Again I lifted up my eyes towards heaven and saw a lofty roof. Above it were 7 cataracts, high waterfalls, which poured forth on the certain village much water. Again I looked, and behold, there were fountains open on the earth in that large village. The water began to boil up and rose over the earth, so that the village was not seen, while its whole soil was covered with water. Much water covered was over it, darkness and clouds. Then I surveyed the height of this water, and it was elevated above the village. It flowed over the village and stood higher than the earth. Then all the cows which were collected there, while I looked on them, were drowned, swallowed up, and destroyed in the water. But the ship floated above it. All the cows, the elephants, the camel, the asses were drowned on the earth, and all cattle. Nor could I perceive them, neither were they able to get out, but perished and sunk into the deep. Again I looked in the vision until those cataracts from that lofty roof was removed, and the fountains of the earth became equalized, while other depths were opened, into which the water began to descend until the dry ground appeared. The ship remained on the earth, the darkness receded, and it became light. Then the white cow, which became a man, went out of the ship, and the 3 cows with him. One of the 3 cows was white, resembling that cow. One of them was red as blood, and one of them was black. And the white cow left them. Now we're going to get started, okay? Shalom, Uncle Warren.
Hey,
All right. 14, we're on 89, and we're on verse 14 in the book of Enoch. And if anybody else sees someone, please just let them know where we are. Okay. 14. Then began wild beasts and birds to bring forth. Of all these, the different kinds assembled together: lions, tigers, wolves, dogs, wild boars, foxes, rabbits, and hanzar, the siset, the aves, kites, the foncas, and ravens. Then the white cow was born in the midst of them, and they began to bite each other. When the white cow, which was born in the midst of them, brought forth a wild ass and a white cow at the same time, and many wild asses, then the white cow, which was born, brought forth a black wild sow and a white sheep. That wild sow also brought forth many swine.
okay, so let's start this with a question. Remember, we're talking about the history of the world. Now we've already been through the flood.
Yes.
We've already talked about Noah,
Yes.
3 sons coming out of the ark: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem is the white cow, Ham is the red, Japheth is the black one. And remember, this has nothing to do with race. Not at all. Okay. So then we have wild beasts and birds. They started having babies. Let's put it that way. They started having babies. The earth started getting populated. Let's just put it that way. Then there's a white cow that is born. Okay. So they're off the ark. There's a white cow that was born. Now, remember, they're doing the history of the earth, but they're also following the messianic line, or the line to Mashiach.
Okay.
So when I ask you a question and you're going to guess, stay in most of the time, just if you remember that, so you won't get to calling somebody that's not even in Mashiach's line. Most of the time, a white cow is in that line. Yeah, most of the time. Okay. So now this white cow is born in the midst of all these wild beasts or in the midst of all these idol worshippers. Think of that too. That might help you get it better. In the midst of all these idol worshippers. So he's born in the midst of them. And they began to bite each other. When the white cow, which was born in the midst of them, brought forth a wild ass and a white cow at the same time, and many wild asses. Okay, don't get ahead of me. Then the white cow, which was born, brought forth. Okay, so wait, let me just start right there. So there's a white cow that's born in the midst of idol worship, right? They began to bite each other or violence, however you want to put it. When the white cow, which was born in the midst of them, brought forth a wild ass and a white cow at the same time, and many wild asses. So I'm going to ask you first.
I got to turn you up too.
First, who's the white cow at the beginning in verse 17? Follow the line. Who's the white cow that was born in the midst of them? Who's the white cow?
Oh, Auntie Shishi said Abram is the white cow.
Okay. And you're absolutely correct. Oh, you got a cipher, don't you? Okay. But that's all right. Abram is born. Remember, Abram was born in the midst of idol worshippers. And remember, they wanted to kill him. Remember, Pharaoh said, "Bring me that baby," and his dad bought the wrong baby.
Yes.
On purpose. He bought the servant's baby, sent Abram to go live with.
Now, this account is not in the regular Bible, though, right?
No.
Yeah, this is not in that. So we don't want to confuse
you. Gotta read like Jasher
and Jubilees. Yes. Yeah. So that I didn't see. I was not thinking Abram, and I should have, because duh.
He got to come first. He got to come call out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you, Auntie Shishi. And yes, you have to read the different accounts so you can get that account.
Yes.
Because you're right.
You wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't.
If you didn't read the other ones.
Absolutely.
You'd be like, what? Okay.
That's so true.
So now we move on. They begin to bite one another. So then, when the white cow, which was born in the midst of them, brought forth a wild ass and a white cow at the same time, and many wild asses. Then the white cow which was born. Okay, let's start right there. So okay, so you got Abraham, right? So then, and they began to bite each other when the white cow, which was born in the midst of them, brought forth a wild ass and a white cow. There was a fight when there was a struggle, or there was a little bit of back and forth between two children. Who are those children? Who are the children? Can you guys guess? Now remember, we're already at Abraham. Who are the children that there was a little bit of back and forth between?
Is it John and Matthew? Luke?
What we got?
Okay, Auntie Shishi, she says, Ishmael, wild ass, because I studied Isaac.
What? Because she studied who?
She said, because I studied. So she think Ishmael is the wild ass.
Okay.
And because I studied Isaac.
Okay. It is Ishmael and Isaac. Because remember, Ishmael is born first, but Isaac comes along. I think Ishmael is like 13. I can't remember. I can't remember how old he is, but he's older. But remember, there's that little bit of struggle between those two, and Sarah was like, "You got to leave my house." Got to leave my house. Okay. So I have a. I'm not gonna kind of go into that much.
Oh, but if it link it up, ma'am, have your way.
So, and y'all know this book right here will tell you what the struggle was that got Ishmael kicked out.
What was the struggle?
Y'all want to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to spoil nobody who wants to read the book. So, Ishmael, remember, in the 66, it'll tell you he got, what is his name? Isaac. Isaac was weaned and they had a party.
Yes.
Right? So Isaac is weaned. They had this big party. Everybody came. Pharaoh of Mitzrayim, because remember at that time, Pharaoh was a Shemite. All these kings came, right, to Isaac's weaning, which is he's 3 years old. A few years later, matter of fact, I'll probably go right to it because I just read it.
Yeah, I love that. Let's give her a minute because this is about to be good, okay? Yeah. And the crazy thing is...
Okay, so Isaac is... Oh. And they had him. Okay. Because Ishmael and Abram was way closer than you think, than we read in the 66.
What do you mean?
Abram did not, like in the 66, we think they got abandoned.
Okay.
No. Abram actually took her to a certain people that he knew. So remember when we were saying that Hagar was all out in the desert? And
oh, yes.
That was something she did, but he didn't do that. He actually took her to a people.
Got you.
That he trusted, and he visited her as his wife at certain parts of the year. Wow. So he could see her and his son.
That makes sense.
They were never abandoned.
Awesome. That makes sense.
And remember in Jasher,
because he said that
he
that wife
to go visit. Yeah. Yes.
That ain't the wife for you.
Yes. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Isaac is 5 years old, but he was weaned at 3.
Yes.
So when Isaac is 5, Ishmael, 2 years later, they're sitting outside of Hagar's tent. Ishmael is sharpening his arrow. Ishmael was 16 old. So Ishmael is 16, Isaac is 5. Ishmael is sharpening his arrows. Isaac takes one of the arrows and just breaks it. On purpose, breaks one of his arrows. Ishmael is upset. You can tell he got anger problems. Ishmael is upset. He takes his bow and arrow and he's about to kill Isaac with the bow and arrow. But he thought about it and didn't do it. But Sarah saw it and she was like, they got to be split up.
Got you.
They got to be split up. So it was more than just
he teased my son and he got to go.
Yeah, but she saw that he really got angry
and was almost
going to kill him, but he stopped because Yahuwah, Ishmael still knows Yahuwah. But at this time, Ishmael is not thinking of priestly things because Abraham wanted to teach Ishmael the things of him too. But at the time, Ishmael was not really feeling it. I'll put it that way. So they have to leave. And so that's what it was like, this rift. But because Abraham kept going to see him, that's why, okay, I'm not going to do that other part yet. But I'll just tell you this, that Ishmael, as he still sees his father and his father is teaching him, eventually came to the side of Yahuwah. So the beef that they're saying Isaac and Ishmael still have, those stem from Ishmael's children, not Ishmael, because Ishmael made peace.
Right.
That they was cool at the end.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So you got that. So we got so now you got then the white cow which was born brought forth a black wild sow and a white sheep. That wild sow also brought forth many swine. And remember, swine is an unclean animal. So Isaac or Ishmael, which one is the seed to the Mashiach? Because you have to know this to know who's in the next verse. The verse we just read. Which one is the seed to the Mashiach? Ishmael or Isaac? We wait for y'all to answer.
Right. Because I think Auntie Shishi says Isaac.
Isaac, right. Okay, so then the white cow, which is Isaac, which was born, brought forth a black wild sow and a white sheep. Who is that? So we're talking about Isaac. Mm-hmm. Who is the wild sow? I mean the white cow and the wild sow. The wild sow and the white sheep. We have to say the wild sow first because he was born first.
Auntie Shishi, she goes again, hit us with a harder. She hit us with a hitter. She says Esau and Jacob.
Esau and Jacob. Remember, Esau did come out first.
Esau wild. Yep.
Yep. And the wild sow also brought forth many swine, unclean, unrighteous. Okay. I'm not saying nobody in his line wasn't righteous, but for the most part, Esau was. I mean, they still here.
Yeah.
They're still here. Trying to get us, trying to kill us. Okay. You have to know that. Okay. So stay here where we are in this progression. Okay.
And that sheep brought forth 12 sheep.
Who had 12 sheep?
Was it Esau?
Or was it Jacob? Y'all stop letting Sheila answer all the questions.
I know. She. Come on, y'all get in these comments and help her out.
You're like, she answered so far.
And she said, girl, she got it. Jacob, that's right. Jacob had the 12 sons.
Jacob had 12 sons. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead.
When those 12 sheep grew up, they delivered one of them to the asses.
Okay, now Sheila, don't answer. So the 12 sheep grow up. The 12 brothers grow up. But they took one of those sheep and delivered him to the asses. Who is the one they delivered and who they deliver him to? Not you, Sheila.
We only got 6 people.
That's okay. Somebody ought to know something.
You got to know a little bit of something.
You got to know your history. I can't believe nobody but Sheila knows. Come on, y'all. Just take a chance.
Well, Lolo, you know I can't hear you. Hey, good to see you, American Sigma. He says Joseph delivered to Ishmael. I was thinking that too.
But okay, I see what he's saying.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I'm like, Ishmael, why are you saying that? Okay, I get what you're saying. He was sold to the Ishmaelites. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Okay. 22.
Again, those asses delivered that sheep to the wolves.
Okay, so who are the wolves that Ishmael delivered Joseph to?
Ishmaelite?
The Ishmaelites is the asses. Who are the wolves that the asses delivered Joseph to?
Sheila said Egypt.
She did not tell you not to answer.
Well, you said for that question. She didn't know it was 13 and 14.
Okay. Well, somebody else said.
Egyptians.
Right, the Egyptians. Okay.
This is crazy. How y'all getting this like that?
Because you got to think about the history of the world.
I'm trying, but I think I'm looking at different things.
Yeah, when you know the history. Because remember, this means what it says and it says what it means.
Yeah.
Don't you up on the ladder trying to think, and what does that mean for me? What it means for you is they delivered Joseph to the Egyptians.
Listen, American Sigma says she quick on that send button. Talking about she is. She got, I don't know how you using your phone, girl. You got that texting
Real
good.
quick. Okay. 23.
Okay. And he grew up in the midst of them. Then Yahuwah brought the 11 sheep that they might dwell and feed with him in the midst of the wolves.
Okay, so he grew up in the midst of them, the one they delivered to the wolves, who is
the Egyptians.
Right, who they delivered to the wolves. Who grew up in the midst of
Joseph.
them? Joseph. Even though Joseph was kind of older, but still, he got really, really older when he was in Egypt. Okay. So he grew up in the midst of them. And then he brought the 11 sheep over to live with him. Who's the 11 sheep? Not you, Sheila. Who's the 11 sheep that he brought to live with him?
Listen, I'm learning.
I'm just saying this because I want y'all to follow this progression. Who's the 11 sheep?
Well, if he's part of 12.
Right. If there's 12, there were 12. Then you take away one, you got the 11. Who's the 11?
I can do that math.
Who's 11? Come on, y'all, don't be scared. Who's the 11?
Lolo said it.
Whoa, what'd she say?
He said his nappy-headed brothers. I don't even have to ask him. I know who you are.
You are right. His nappy-headed brothers.
That's right. I know who you are. You one of us.
Joseph had a nappy head too. Oh my goodness. Okay.
He's like, I'm gonna tell you like it is.
Okay, 25.
Okay. They multiplied and there was abundance of pasture for them.
Okay. Get this. So they multiplied, which means they had
children.
What? They had children, and there was abundance of pasture for them, right? So that means that it was what? Abundance of pasture. So we got these 12 brothers. They're starting to multiply, but there's abundance of land for them. So what do you think that means? So let me ask this question. Does this sound like bondage or freedom?
Girl.
There's abundance of pasture for them.
Definitely don't sound like bondage to me. Sound like they
What
look
say
good.
you?
But Shalom, Ronald, my bad, disrespect. Shalom, my brother.
Okay.
Auntie Cammy Cam.
Do they answer or they
No, they're just saying they just logged in.
Oh.
Good to see y'all. We are in 89 and 25. Just
so they multiplied, talking about all of them really. It's all 12 brothers. And there was abundance of pasture for them. So is that bondage or is that freedom?
I'm leaning all the way on freedom.
Okay. What say ye?
Sound like American Sigma. He said, sounds like they were being fruitful and multiplying.
Okay. Very good. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. So it's important because everybody getting these 400 years mixed up.
Yes.
When they went into Egypt the first time, they were not in bondage.
No.
They lived a good old amount of time in freedom. Have to understand that. Okay? All right. 26.
But the wolves began to frighten and oppress them while they destroyed their young ones.
Now, this one is another one you have to have read Joshua and Jubilee to understand. But then the whole thing flips because there was a war fought, and they went to fight with the matter of fact. The reason why Egypt was so powerful in the first place, because Joseph and his brothers fought for Egypt, and they kept winning. They made Egypt the world power that it was at that time. But then another Pharaoh came and saw how these boys was operating during war, because the Egyptians at one point left Yasrael out there by themselves. Yasrael gets mad and they killed some of those Egyptians, and that's why at the beginning of in the 66, when you get to the beginning of Exodus, they were saying this people is too mighty and strong. If our enemies go to war and they decide to go against us, we don't have a chance. What we gonna do about it? What we gonna? Because they're the ones who won that war for them. Okay, so they began. Remember, their plan was they began to oppress them. And remember, Job was part of that plan.
Yes.
For those of you who read it, okay. Kill their young ones, destroy the young ones.
And they was destroying them in bricks, the most brutal way.
Oh yeah,
the most brutal and gruesome way. They were
putting them inside buildings.
Okay, so 27. And they left their young in torrents of deep water.
Okay, let's stop right there. Now remember, they're starting to kill their babies. Now, this is another one. If you hadn't read Joshua and Jubilee, you're not going to get. But those of you who have read it, it says, and they left their young in torrents of deep water. Or the Israelites did something with their children. Okay? So you can look at this both ways. The Egyptians was throwing them in the water, but Yah was doing something else. What was he doing? Remember, they're throwing them in the water, but then Yahuwah had them do something else. Remember? Who can remember that has read Joshua and Jubilee? It's something so remarkable. Like, you be like, what? Okay, now I'm going to put it this way. So they took their young ones and they gave them two things. And then they did something. Who can remember that has read Joshua or Jubilee? Anybody? Remember? Wait, I'm sure there's some people on here that have read it. Wait, what is
no, that's
the last one.
that was the last comment he said.
Because I'll give you like a little hint. All the children did not die because they didn't find them all.
No. Hold on, y'all. This is not a clip, I promise you. Okay. Whew. Yes.
Who said
it?
Thank
you, Sheila, because I was about to burst out in the answer. With the answer, I have to make sure it was right, though. They buried their children. But what is the thing that they gave?
They gave them 2 stones.
Yes. Ronald said they hit them in the fields. They gave them 2 stones, yep.
One was honey and one was milk. And they remember when it was all over, them kids was kind of big, and they got up and went straight to their house. They'd have to go, who my mama, who my daddy? They already knew.
They already knew they went. They had an instant GPS. Yes. Auntie Kim said, ask the ground to cover them. Yeah.
Yep.
I have to think, oh gosh, you're right.
Because remember, creation is alive.
And
if the dirt says, I'm going to hide you, you are not going to die. There's somebody's going to hide you. I got you.
Wow.
The mouse says, come on, I'm just going to cover you up. I got you.
Yep. Oh, look at y'all.
So they did not find all those children. So you thought.
Right.
Pharaoh. Okay.
Okay, now the sheep began to cry out on account of their young and fled for refuge to their Adonai. One, however, which was saved, escaped and went away to the wild asses. I beheld the sheep moaning, crying, and petitioning their Adonai with all their might until Yahuwah of the sheep descended at their voice from a lofty habitation, went to them, and inspected them.
Okay, so.
Right it is, yes.
Come on, follow me through the line.
Ain't that powerful?
Okay.
American Sigma said, that's powerful.
Yes.
Yes.
So now now the sheep began to cry out because they're killing our babies. They're putting them in buildings.
Yes.
Because remember, right now, they don't know what happened to their kids that got buried.
Yes.
They have no idea. They just know you wouldn't get them.
Yes.
Okay. So,
wow.
okay.
Wow.
Now the sheep began to cry on account of their young and fled for refuge to their Adonai. What does it mean to fly for refuge to their Adonai or to their Lord? How do you fly for refuge? Because it didn't say they fly out of Egypt for refuge. They fly to their Adonai for refuge or a safe place. So what does that mean? Now think, you all know what happens. Why Yahuwah moved in the first place, to get them delivered. So what did they do when they went to seek refuge? However, which was, no, to that one. So we're just on the refuge. Don't go to the one yet. They fled for refuge to their Adonai. What does it mean to fly for refuge?
No, that was the last one.
Don't think too hard, because I've been there.
Because I'm there. I'm on the ladder right now.
You might not be. Sometimes you ain't always on the ladder.
Okay.
I'm going to let you answer.
Is it just crying out, praying?
That's all it is.
Okay.
That's your refuge. That's your safe place.
Huh.
Cry. Remember, he even said, cry to me. I'm here.
It took me everything to
They weren't crying to him all this time. They weren't
you're
crying
right.
To him.
Oh, almost.
That's okay.
Yeah, you're right.
They were not crying to him. Oh, now. Okay, let's see what happens now.
You're right. They sure wasn't.
Oh,
it's to the one.
One.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to keep going on 31?
No, you're on 28.
No, I'm not. I read that.
Okay, do it over.
Okay.
One,
however, which was saved, escaped, and went away to the wild asses.
So who's the one that escaped? Who escaped? Who actually got out of Egypt? I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. Who's the one who left?
Y'all, I'm learning with y'all.
Okay. Who left? Think about it.
Who
left? And there's a reason he left. He got up out of there because he did something.
We went from 12 brothers to this.
Mm-hmm.
That's Auntie
Sheila.
Sister said Moses.
Yep, Moshe. Remember, Moshe left. He killed that Egyptian. They found out. Oh, I'm out of here.
Yes,
he's out of here. Okay, and he went to go live with the wild asses, or we know he went to go live with
the. He ruled from there. What was it? Remember Cush?
Yeah.
King.
I think was it Cush?
No, was it Cush? He ruled over Cush for 40 years.
I want to say it was Cush.
I think it was Cush.
I want to say it was Cush. So those of you who read some of the books they don't want us to read, when Moshe left Egypt for 40 years, he actually was a king over a kingdom.
Yes.
For 40 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Ronald said Moshe. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yep. She said, I tried to wait.
Okay.
Imagine me reading, okay?
Okay, 29.
And I beheld the sheep moaning, crying, and petitioning their Adonai with all their might, until Yahuwah of the sheep descended at their voice from lofty habitation, went to them and inspected them.
So now they're starting to cry out to him as a people. So Yahuwah comes down and, I done told you the answer. Went to them and inspected them. Now remember,
yes, he was a king.
Yes. And remember when, right before he sends Moshe, when he's on the mountain talking to him, he says, I have seen the oppression of my people. I've heard their cry, I have seen, because he actually went just like kind of just picture the Tower of Babel. So he says, since you cried to me, let me go see what's up. It ain't that he didn't know what was up all along. You didn't call him.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't call him. You was too busy with them Egyptian gods.
Mm-hmm.
You did not call him. So if you don't call me, I'm not coming.
Right.
I see it only because I'm Yahuwah. That's just like if we're in trouble, if we don't tell nobody, they're not going to see it.
Right.
They're not going to see it. That's how Yahuwah is like, call if you want me, all you gotta do is call me. But what we not gonna do is have you worshiping them other gods and then not even talking to me, expect me to just come get you.
Right.
We're not doing that.
Nah.
We're not. You want me, call me.
Ooh.
Okay. So Yahuwah sees that, and so now he says, "I hear the cry of my people." Then he went to visit, so to speak, this thing. Now he's really, really looking. Not that he didn't know, but he's like, "I see it. Okay, y'all cry to me. You see, you need my help. I got this." Okay.
He called to that sheep which had secretly stolen away from the wolves and told him to make the wolves understand that were not to touch the sheep.
Okay, now who is that? So Yahuwah goes and calls to the sheep that secretly stole away, the one that tiptoed on up out of Egypt, and said, "You going back. And you gonna tell them people, don't touch my sheep.
Right.
Hands off." Okay, if y'all don't just give me an answer.
Wait a minute. And to make it why it's secretly stolen, because remember, they thought that Moshe was dead.
Yes, because of that angel.
Because of the angel made it look like that
they cut off
his head. So the people, the Pharaoh don't know that Moshe is alive.
Right.
So that gives you more context as why he was like, "Oh, okay, you want me to go back?"
Part, yeah.
Want me to go back?
He said, wait, we pulled off a whole thing.
I got it good.
You don't even know I'm alive.
You don't even know I'm alive. Because they killed one of their Egyptian shoulders.
Yeah, because the angel made it look like it was Moshe.
Ain't that crazy? Listen, don't play with Yahuwah.
Yep,
okay?
Y'all read them other books. It explains a lot.
It explains a lot.
Okay, so he said, don't tell them, leave my people alone. Don't touch the sheep.
Yeah, don't touch it. Auntie Shishi said, y'all told Moshe to go to Pharaoh too.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Yep, that's it.
Tell him don't touch my sheep, dude.
Okay. Then that sheep went to the wolves with the word of
Capital
Yahuwah.
W.
Capital W. Okay, with the word of with Yahuwah of Yahuwah. When another met him and proceeded with him.
Come on, y'all better know who met him. You better know who met him. Or I might just fly to each one of y'all house, drive, and punch you.
Where? Just do it in order.
Who's the other one that went with Moshe?
Yes. American Sigma says Aaron.
Aaron. Okay.
Absolutely.
All
so
right.
Here's another fun fact, if y'all don't know. The reason why Moshe had a stammering problem.
Oh, yeah.
Was because when he was a baby, the Pharaoh recognized something was different about him. And so they put a hot stone.
Yeah. Remember, it was a crown.
It was a crown.
Because Moshe went and snatched the crown off his head, and they was like, kill him. He was like, nah, he's just a kid. Let's see if he really knew what he was doing. So let's put these two things. And remember, Moshe went to not grab the stone, but the angel made him. Yeah.
And so he took the stone and he put it in his mouth and burned his tongue. And that's why he had a stammering problem issue. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
Listen, these books that they say are uninspired are definitely inspired. And they put
it all together. Yep.
So it's not like, oh, I can't doubt. No, it's a reason.
Yeah.
That hot stone test. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And remember, Aaron, like for a long time, I was saying, wait, Aaron just up and left Egypt? Like,
oh, yeah.
I always thinking Aaron just up and left. He could just walk in. Now he's supposed to be a slave. Until you read the other books, you know that Levi was never enslaved.
Nope.
They were never in captivity. They just stayed there because their family was there. Because Levi had told them, don't fall for it. Because what they did was they had our people work. And at first they was paying them, and they had the Egyptians work for them. And the Egyptians started to pull back.
Yep.
And became their managers.
Yep.
And then they one day just started pressing them, beating them, and all that. And they had trusted them. And Levi was like,
I told y'all not to go. So Aaron was a part of Levi.
He was Levi, so he was not
Ain't
a
that crazy?
slave.
I love story time. All right. So yes. So you're right, Aaron. Where were we?
Yes. Oh, you meant 33.
33, thank you. Auntie Kim, she said, I want to read that again in Jasher/Jubilees. Yes, great detail. Both of them together entered the dwelling of the wolves, and conversing with them made them understand that henceforward they were not to touch the sheep. Right?
You messing with y'all's people, let them go. And remember when Moshe got to Pharaoh's house is guarded by those lions.
Yes.
Remember, 2 big lions, real lions.
Yep.
That you wasn't about to get by. Child, them lions acting like puppy dogs in front of Moshe. They start jumping up on them and acting like little puppy dogs.
And the Pharaoh couldn't understand. He said, "How did they get in here?"
Yeah,
and in fact, when he sent the other people, I believe the lions attacked them.
I think so.
Because he was like, "Wait a minute, how did these two come walking
into my court?"
Right. He said, "Are the lions out there?" And one of them went to go check.
They should be lion food.
Right.
What is up? And the lions is playing with Moshe like he they owner or something.
Yep. Wow.
Dominion.
Mess around and be obedient. See if you won't have that same dominion and authority over creation.
Yep.
I'm telling you. All right. 34. Afterwards, I perceived the wolves greatly prevailing over the sheep with their whole force. The sheep cried out, and their Adonai came to them. He began to strike the wolves, who commenced a grievous lamentation, but the sheep were silent. Nor from that time did they cry out.
So then the wolf, remember Pharaoh was all, I don't know, Yahuwah, and I will not let them go. Matter of fact, I'm going to make it harder. And because that was with the bricks, and he said, for each brick you short, I'm going to throw a kid in there.
Yep.
I'm going to throw one of your children.
Now, was this the short man?
I think this is the short one. This is the short one.
The 2-cubit guy doing all of this.
Yeah, I think it was the short one.
Just as evil.
He was short, y'all.
He was short, and his hair just... He was so short, and he was so evil.
He was evil.
And he was not budging. He was killing our ancestors.
Yep.
Left and right, up and down, side to side. Okay?
Like, you going to do what I say.
Yes.
Like,
it was not afraid of
Yahuwah. So Yahuwah had, okay, you're going to ask me who I am? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you who I am. And so it says, he began to strike the wolves, who commenced a grievous lamentation, because he started bringing all those plagues. He said, but the sheep were silent. Nor from that time did they cry out, because the sheep see, oh, he working for us. He done heard our cry. It's Judgment Day. Just like right now, we see it.
Yeah.
It's Judgment Day. We done messed around and found out who we were.
Right. And messed around and called his name and not the name they gave us.
And keeping Shabbat.
Oh, man. And that's the first thing he restored.
Feast days. Yep.
That's the first thing he restored when they were in Egypt. He restored the Shabbat.
Yep.
Which was a mind blower for me, because when we came into truth, what did we do? We put back the Shabbat.
Yep. And then everything else came.
More revelation, more understanding. When we put back the Shabbat and we start honoring the Shabbat, Maya, the Most High moves, because it's a sign between him and you. And
you're meeting him, so you're talking to him every day.
And you are under an open heaven. So there's from 6 days, heaven is closed, right? We're closed. The 7th day, heaven is open. And only 2 classes of angels get to be a part of it, and you.
Yes.
Talk about where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name.
Yes.
I'll be in the midst.
And one of the angels that's in his presence is the angel for our nation, Michael.
Yeah.
So we got all this going for us when we restore the Shabbat.
Yes.
When we believe what he says and start acting on it. Y'all see this? They said, we ain't got to cry no more, but it ain't like they stopped talking to him. Of course, they kept doing Shabbat.
Yep.
They kept doing all that, but you know what?
While in oppression, because remember, they still didn't get out right away.
They ain't out yet.
Moses had to go back to that little short Pharaoh and ask to restore, well, can you at least give them a Shabbat? And he went and gave the people a Shabbat one day out of the week, and it was the 7th day. Wow. Okay, so even in the midst of our trouble,
yes,
he has restored our Shabbat.
And that's when we get our greatest peace.
Sure do.
Because you're supposed to leave everything else out.
Sure do. Don't talk to me about nobody work. Okay? My attention is straight to him. All right, 36. I then looked at them until they departed from the wolves. The eyes of the wolves were blind, who went out and followed them with all their might.
So he said, Enoch said, so then I see the sheep, they left. They departed from the wolves, but then the wolves got angry.
Yes.
And went after them with all their might. Remember, Pharaoh took the whole army.
Yes.
Everybody coming.
Yeah, what you mean you want to stay?
Everybody coming. The women and children can stay in Egypt.
Yes.
Everybody going. Come on.
He called everybody too. But Yahuwah of the sheep proceeded with them and conducted them. All his sheep followed him. His countenance, terrific and splendid and glorious, was his aspect. Yet the wolves began to follow the sheep until they overtook them in a certain lake of water.
So remember, they followed them, and then, oh no, we're at the Red Sea. And remember, they're trapped. I should ask y'all that. They're trapped.
I know one.
At the Red Sea.
Listen, because we've been taught one thing.
Oh, yeah.
We've been taught one thing. Did the Red Sea, how many of y'all agree that the Red Sea parted one time?
Or one lane.
Or one lane, right? Or have we learned that he parted the Red Sea in 12 different lanes?
12.
Representing.
Each tribe had their own lane.
Each tribe had their own lane. Yes.
That's why y'all got to read our history. Don't let them tell y'all it ain't inspired. No, you ain't inspired.
Okay? He split that Red Sea into 12 lanes. So it makes sense how everybody got, listen, your tribe there, go.
Come on, let's roll.
Roll. Talk about doing something in order.
Yes. Yeah. And now look. Okay, no. I'll say this part later. Okay.
All right. So we still in 89.
Yep. Verse 39.
Verse 39. Then that lake became divided, the water standing up on both sides before their face. And while their Adonai was conducting them, he placed himself between them and the wolves. The wolves, however, perceived not the sheep, but went into the midst of the lake, following them and running after them into the lake of water.
So while they were going through, Yahuwah put that wall of fire between them, so they could see. But at a certain point, Yahuwah lifted it up, and they just see 12 lanes.
Yes.
It was like, hey. Because remember, they already know what Yahuwah can do. They just went through 10 plagues.
That's right.
They ain't stupid.
That's right.
But they just thinking, oh, Yahuwah must be a poor general.
Right.
He done opened up a whole lake. Now we just gonna follow him.
Yeah.
So they followed. Me, I don't know if I would have went.
You would have had me at the 10 plagues, okay? You would have lost me. I ain't going.
But remember, they all went except for Pharaoh.
Yes.
And Pharaoh wasn't going.
Pharaoh wasn't going. And that's the crazy thing, too. You don't learn that in your regular 66. Okay. But when they saw Yahuwah of the sheep, they turned to fly from before his face. Then the water of the lake returned, and that suddenly, according to its nature, it became full and was raised up until it covered the wolves. And I saw that all of them which had followed the sheep perished and were drowned.
All of them going to the Red Sea, following my people. Oops, you thought I was a bad general.
Right. But that's their destination anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyone that's coming against Yahuwah, your destination, you're not going to win.
You're not.
You're not going to win.
You're not. And he uses nature to fight. That's
absolutely.
You ain't got to get a gun.
Right. It's the craziest thing when you go like,
if we can't read and write, what you trying so hard to stop us for? And the answer is because America has always known what you are. America has always known who you are. America has understood what you're capable of, and they will make you think you ain't nothing at the same time that they exploit